think, an option. I don't want to put too much stuff in this plane, though. I feel like that'd make it too easy.
What would the steering be? Like, would it just be a stick that you steer in the water, or something you have to build?
Well, ideally, I think it'd be best if it did come off the plane, just because then you could take the rudder, or whatever that thing's called,
Yeah.
on the back, and then we'd somehow allow the user to jimmy rig some form of steering system with the raft.
Like the plane steering wheel?
Yeah. But not exactly. Okay, so do you guys want to just put steering with the plane then also, and then maybe take our rope and put it somewhere else? I guess we have 2 rope already. We can just change this rope to be steering wheel. That sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. So then we get our power source and our steering from the plane.
So both of those things aren't really necessary to get off the little island, are they? They just make it easier?
Well, that's the design choice that we have to decide on. Are we going to force the player to get 100% completion with with whatever thing they're building before they can move on to the next zone? Or do we want it to be they can only get 10% complete, it just won't work very well, or they can get 0% complete and try and swim it and maybe make it by swimming? What do you guys want? I mean, it's up to us
I don't see why not. I think that'd make it more interesting.
to just kind of do whatever you
I
want
let
to do.
the player play how they want to.
I like that idea too.
Like, if you don't put enough rope on it, it'll start to fall apart halfway through, and if you're good enough at the puzzle, you can get across in time, but that's the thing.
Or if you time it just right with our water creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you guys like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just say that this is our starting island. And let's just try to play this scenario out in our heads, right? So we're gonna start here. We're gonna walk past this little point and then cutscene. And our little companion comes up to us and we find him. We're gonna stick with that. At some point, we're going to need to find the blueprint for the raft on this island. I guess that should be the first thing that we find, right? Maybe put that on the starting beach with us.
Sure.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of interesting if that was in the shack, though. You know, that would kind of be a logical place to find a blueprint. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Then let's do this. Let's do this. Stick with me now. I'm gonna have to probably redraw this a little, but would we put the shack here? We shifted our little plateaus, mountain things to here, and we put the forest here. Could we do that? Or we could put the shack here. We just switch. All right, check this out. I got it. I got it all. So we'll switch these two. Then the shack will be kind of the first thing that you see. You're like, there's a shack there. I want to go check it out. It'll feel very intuitive to the player to go there. We'll make it real obvious. So you're gonna walk into the shack. You're gonna find the blueprint. Okay, I'm gonna switch these two. So you're gonna walk into the shack. You're gonna find the blueprint. Pick up the blueprint. Maybe the rope if you're kind of paying attention and realizing that you're gonna need rope to have on this raft. And once you find that in the shack, you exit the shack. Once you have the blueprint and you exit the shack, our little companion will be like, forest, and it'll take off into the forest. And we'll be like, okay, now I have to go find this thing in the forest. So then you go over here and then that's where you're gonna find the companion. You'll pick up rope and wood, again, if you're paying attention. And then up top, we'll have our plateau thing here. That sound good?
Do we want it so regimented, like you have to do this and then you have to do that?
I don't think so.
So,
Should we keep it out of order then? Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know, just not like you exit the little starting area and then, oh, you see this thing, you think you have to go there first.
Well, no, I mean, our plane will be here too. Maybe not right here, maybe kind of up here. And you'll see, maybe you can see the forest off the distance behind the shack. But it's sort of the thing to where, as a player, you see that and you're like, I should probably go to that shack. Just because you see a shack and might be something in there for you to get. That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, what do you guys want?
I like
What about our new guys? All right.
Do you want, like after you exit the shack, do you want the companion bot to leave you to the forest?
That's kind of what I was thinking. I like that idea of him kind of taking off and then you being like, oh no, where's he going? And then maybe as the player initially you're kind of like, oh, is that all? Do I not actually get this little pet thing? Or you know.
Okay.
Well, what do you think? You like that idea? You don't like that idea?
I don't know. I mean, I do, but I don't know. Just seems like if the companion bot goes off in the forest, then you feel compelled to go into the forest instead of anywhere else, sort of thing.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Like, why would he go off into the forest other than just to find wood and rope? You know.
Sure.
And
Okay. Well, we don't have to make him go off in the forest. That's
I'm the only one thinking this.
I think it would be a good way to get the player to like go search for the rope in the wood in the forest, like to have the robot like introduce that as a place where you can search.
Sure.
But it doesn't have to be like right after you go to the hub. Make it so he runs off if you get.
You can make it so that
certain-
like if 5 minutes pass and you haven't found anything, then it runs off and
Maybe.
okay. All right. Let's sort of like go back to our hint system.
you're like a hint kind of, you're not finding anything, you know, you're.
It says go this way. Kind of thing. Sure.
Just think about implementations. So should we have our hint system work all the time? So if there's ever a point to where the player is kind of stuck and you're noticing that they haven't found anything or progressed anywhere in the next 15 minutes, then maybe we'll do like a quick area scan. We'll find the nearest next like objective, and then our pet will take off to that.
Sure. I think so. I mean, I like the idea that it asks you, do you want a pin kind of a thing? Like, it seems too easy, unless it's like on easy or hard mode.
Have our little thing be like, hey, listen.
Yeah.
And then you can press a button and it'll interact. Okay. I see what you're saying. I mean, it does kind of feel too easy if the pet just takes off and then it just becomes this giant game of wait 10 minutes and then follow your pet to the next objective. Like, we don't really want that to happen. But maybe we'll just have it be for certain parts of the game. Or maybe just certain objectives.
Maybe less intuitive ones. Like the shack, you're gonna go and check out the shack in the airplane on your own.
I feel, yeah, see, I agree. I think
Just
that's
as
very
a-
intuitive
as
as
a
a player. But woods, maybe not so much, because you're like, oh, there's just some trees over there. It's probably nothing. But, you know, who knows? Maybe you would go explore that. I mean, ideally, we want this map itself is going to be pretty big. It's going to be big enough to the point to where you can probably see all the way across it. And you'll definitely be able to see from one end to the other, but it'll still feel huge. And there might be some mountains that block you from being able to see all the way across. You know, I mean, this isn't going to be flat. We're going to have varied elevation throughout it. Okay, what else? We had rope up here, right?
I think
Okay.
it was wood up there
Up there too.
instead of.
Well, it's just what they're-
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was up there. Okay. Thank you. Cool. What else should we we need a checkpoint thing. What should our checkpoint be on this world? Our checkpoint
It's
slash
center.
storage slash save zone.
It
What
would
was
be
it?
right in the center.
In the center?
So,
Okay. Sure.
Like,
Should be one of the woods.
Have multiple on this one island, you think?
No, there should be multiples.
maybe you
Why,
should have
like, why
one,
not? Because
like,
You could. I don't want it to be this point to where you're walking like it takes you like 30 seconds to go between checkpoints though. You know, I think that it should be sort of a lengthy period between checkpoints. But that's, you know, that's all scalable. We can make this a lot bigger or put obstacles in the way or make certain paths to where the player can't just go from here to here in a matter of seconds. It has to like go through maybe a maze of some sort, some kind of winding. But that's cool. We can put a checkpoint here. Put that in red. Checkpoint here. I'll have a checkpoint here.
maybe there should be one at your starting point so that you can see what it is. Not so much that you can save like right when you start, but you'll find it and it'll say, hey, save.
Okay.
Also, you'll know where one is that you can return to.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that, yeah. That way you feel kind of sense of safety.
I'm only saying put on the bottom left because we're going to introduce an enemy right there.
Yeah. Before the challenge, which will restart you if you get
Like when we cross that water.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because you'd hit that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Let's say we save here. We check in at the checkpoint, whatever we want to call it. Then we cross, we pick up the wood, and we're crossing back, and then we get picked up by the enemy. Do we still have the wood or not?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, I agree. I don't think we should do the wood.
So is that
That should reset it.
for the rest of the game then? If you get items, you don't keep it if you lose a puzzle. You have to save.
Or you have to put the item inside your storage at the checkpoint. Any item that's in the storage at the checkpoint will remain in the storage, but if you lose any of the little puzzle challenges or whatever, if you get spotted, then you'll lose whatever's in your current inventory.
Okay.
I think that'd be good. Alright, what else do we want for World 1? This side is looking barren. We need to put some stuff in there. What do you guys think? Anything?
Could have maybe like a kind of like a type of mountain where you could get a look at the big island from it.
Okay, yeah, I like that.
That's good.
Well, we'll also be able to get that from these plateaus,
Oh,
but
that's true.
that could be not necessarily like a jumping challenge sort of thing, just like you can just walk up there, right? Is that kind of what you're thinking? I don't know how to draw this. I'll just put mountains here. There.
You want some point that you could launch a raft off, or is it just beach? Just like put it in the ocean?
Well, I was thinking this would kind of be beach area here.
Okay.
Where you're thinking a dock. We could have like an actual dock.
Which side is facing the island?
Big island's up here.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then starting beach, this is a little corner island. Yeah, like I said, we're gonna have varied elevation throughout all this, so it'll look a little more full and real. But I think that's not too bad for our first map. And we can always put another piece of wood somewhere, or another rope somewhere, or we figured out, we thought of another kind of power source or steering idea, we can place that in another place, So if you guys think of anything, just shout it out. Don't be hesitant. But let's. I'm gonna. Island 1. All right, I'm gonna take a picture of this, and then we'll move to Island 2. Sound good? Let's turn the flash off. Okay, cool. Alright, now we're going to sort of have the same general setup. Right, we have a beach. Our player will start here, we'll put a little checkpoint also in there. Kind of start.
We want to start at the same point in every starting.
Well, no, this is more conceptual. I guess we just put it somewhere else, just for now, just to kind of make things up a little bit. But I mean, everything that we put in all these maps, when we go and we're actually developing or integrating these ideas, it's not going to be the same by any means. I mean, this is really just a rough prototype of what we want to kind of look like. But we can still mix it up a little bit. Okay, so what do we need on Island 2? Someone want to read that off for me?
It's a glider one.
Okay.
Frame, fabric, power sources.
Okay, so we're gonna find a lot of that on our plane. I'm just gonna put just gonna write plane. And it'll also, again, it'll be on fire. And it'll be smoking.
Why is there another plane?
What's that?
Why is there another one?
There was a plane on the first.
Oh.
Okay, so if you guys are a little confused, that's fine. So the way we're doing it is every island that we have right here, like Island 1, Island 2, Island 3, Island 4, Island 5, these are all just starting islands. And each time you begin a new game, it'll randomly choose which of these islands you're going to start on. That way the player doesn't feel like they're just starting fresh every single time from the same thing, doing the same thing over and over and over again. And depending on which island you start on, it can very well determine how you're going to eventually finish the game. For example, Island 1, you're going to start with a raft. The meta of the game will be you'll eventually most likely build a boat and take this boat to safety. Island 2 is going to be a glider. The meta of the game will eventually be you get a plane, and you're going to fly this plane to safety.
Okay.
Sort of things like that. So the starting island can determine how you want to start the game, but at the same time, if you start on Island 2, you get the glider, you glide over, you can find all the materials to build a boat still and get off. It'll just be harder, per se, because there'll be more things that you'll have to find. That make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So that is why we have planes on each island. And these assets and island, none of this will be visible unless you're starting on this island. So if you start on Island 2, you can't look over and see Island 1 and all this stuff on it. That'll just be gone. It'll be out of view, will not be enabled. So, frame. Okay, so frame's probably